messed with are the gluteal muscles, but we're gonna kind of show you where they would be. The biggest one of the gluteal muscles is gluteus medius, and it's basically up here. Gluteus maximus, you see how it's kind of delineated? Sometimes you can see clear white inscriptions that make it obvious, not so much in here, but that would be gluteus maximus. And you see this one going from the tail all the way over to the femur? This would be caudofemoralis. Not super, super clear in this cat. All right, let me flip you back to this side. So same thing we would have had over here, it just wasn't as clear. Caudofemoralis, gluteus maximus, gluteus minimus. This triangular muscle right here that comes down and it ends in this iliotibial band, this fascia, this is tensor fasciae latae. Now down in here we kind of pulled this up. This was the biceps femoris muscle. When we pulled that up, next to it, although not yet separated, I'll just do it very quickly, that's semitendinosus, and semimembranosus is the muscle that we see in between. To see anything else, we're going to flip it over and we're going to look on the other side. So the one on the more lateral side, this is sartorius. So in humans, that's a thin ribbon-like muscle. In the cat, it is a broad, flat muscle. Gracilis is the muscle that lies more medially. Same thing. In humans, thin, broad and flat here. So on this side, we ran our fingers under them and raised them up so we could reflect back sartorius and gracilis. And underneath, so underneath sartorius, we find the quadriceps muscles. And you see that central, thicker, spindly muscle? Well, that's rectus femoris. And then the thigh muscles, we say the vast muscles. Here's vastus medialis. Here's vastus lateralis. When we look at what was underneath gracilis, here we find the adductor muscles. The first one here is pectineus, and actually way up in here you might even see iliopsoas. It is just a tiny little bit of it shows. I can see it. It's that little thing right there. We often have a hard time finding it. But the one we always will find, the smallest one is pectineus, then adductor longus. Then this we call, instead of adductor magnus like we call it in humans, we call it adductor femoris in the cat. This separation here, this is semimembranosus. So remember, the three hamstring muscles were biceps femoris, semitendinosus, and semimembranosus that you could see in between those two, but we can also see it here, looking at it from the other side. I don't think we actually got down here to the lower legs very well yet, but gastrocnemius is part of Triceps surae down here. If we separate it, I always like filming when I'm trying to do it on the fly, but there we go. That's the soleus muscle that I just separated from it, also part of Triceps surae. And that's a much flatter muscle. And it's called Triceps surae because it technically has three heads. Well, these are two of them. To find the other one, I actually have to go to this side. And I'll show you that I'm not making this up, that there's a very clear dividing point in the middle of gastrocnemius that I can just separate with my finger. And this inner part of it is called plantaris. So Triceps surae is basically plantaris, gastrocnemius, and then the soleus muscle that runs behind them. They all share a common Achilles tendon. So again, I didn't actually get this dissected out yet, but I can feel the sharp edge of the tibia here. So this is tibialis anterior. On the lateral side, again, not really dissected out, but see this shiny tendon right here? That needs to have a little of this removed so you can see what a shiny tendon it is. Now you can see it. That's fibularis longus, also known as peroneus. And that has several heads and works its way up here. All right, I don't have it dissected enough to tell you, but extensor digitorum longus would be right on this side as well. Remember, the extensor is on the lateral side. The muscle that we would find right here on the medial side is flexor flexor digitorum longus. All right. And I think those are all the muscles, realizing the ones in the legs needed a little bit more cleaning up, so they were not perfect. But do you feel at least a little bit